Hi, Game Night's cast and crew. Thanks for your great episodes. I'm Johan Weber, also Johan Weber on Patreon. I'm 33 and I live in Atlanta, Georgia with my wife and 2 kids. I'd like to tell you a story today about a combo that was never meant to be used defensively. And by the end, I think you'll agree that Swan Lake is an underrated ballet. To protect everyone's integrity and anonymity, I won't use any names. We'll just call them by their generals. So from my left around the table, in turn order, we have Kaikar, Feather, and Erebos. And then myself running Kineos and Tiro. But a heads up, my deck is not a group hug deck. It's built entirely around the EDH staple Swans of Bryn Argyle, with lots of lands, damage-based sweepers, wheels, and creatures that want to be dealt damage. It's a little weird, and does a great job of flying under the radar, as swans generally do. Boards have gotten loaded. Life totals are all around like the high 20s. The Feather player has Aurelia the War Leader, loaded with equipment, plus she's joined by a board of tokens and I think like 2 anthems, and the Red Praetor. I mean, just a lot of stuff, right? Boros. Probably enough to kill one player if they lunge at them. Kaikar has 4 or 5 spirit tokens from their spell's last turn, and has a suspicious amount of untapped mana. I've got out Swans and Narset Parter Veils, so I can block 1 creature each combat pretty well. But I've also been behind on board pretty much all game, except I have loads of lands. That happens a lot in this deck. Erebos has some enchantments out, mono black. It's Feather's turn, and they go for it. They cast Bedlam, so no one can block, and they declare all attackers at Kaikar, because Kaikar is the biggest threat to Feather's win. Kaikar responds with an overloaded Cyclonic Rift. Now, priority passes to me. I activate Alchemist's Refuge to give my spells flash, and I cast Repercussion. Now, if you're not familiar with Repercussion, it says whenever a creature takes damage, it deals that much damage to its controller. Then I regain priority after it resolves, and I cast Starve Extinction. Kaikar is tapped out for Rift now, and both Kaikar and Feather have multiple creatures, so they take like 100 damage each because of Repercussion. Cue the tragic Aerosmith song and your favorite Armageddon sequence. Now, best of all, because of Swans, I draw like 20 cards. My hand is straight gas now. When I untap, the game is mine. Erebos player untaps, draws, and kills me with a lethal Torment of Hailfire. To this day, I think, if only I'd had a swan song. Thanks y'all for the opportunity. Keep up the great content.